9. Hello there, very good evening and welcome to your Primetime News Bulletin. I'm Sharon Silva.
And I'm Arundhati Mudannaika. Voting has concluded in a contentious general election in Thailand, the results of which analysts say could plunge the Southeast Asian nation into further political turmoil.
Now we have the details of this story and more coming up in the bulletin, but before that, let's take a look at tonight's headlines.
The headlines on Newsfirst at 9.
Anurakumara Dissanayake appointed leader of the JVP. Former leader Somawan Samarasinha comments on giving up the leadership. Journalist Melguna Sekara murdered. 2 suspects killed in a shootout with the STF in Dikwalla. Water crisis in Jaffna. Will water from Kilinochchi be supplied to the district?
Newsfirst at 9. The main suspect of the murder of journalist Melguna Sekara has been arrested.
Well, we have details of that story coming up later on in the news. Meanwhile, MP Anurakumara Dissanayake was appointed leader of the Janata Vimukti Peramuna today.
He was appointed following the 7th party convention, which was held today.
Born on the 24th of November 1968, Anurakumara Dissanayake earned his undergraduate degree from the University of Kelaniya, which he entered in 1991. He joined the Janata Vimukti Peramuna as a youth in 1987. He entered full-time politics in 1988 and in 1995 was appointed national organizer of the Socialist Students' Union. He was appointed to the JVP Central Committee the same year and was appointed to the JVP Politburo in 1998. Anurakumara Dissanayake was elected to Parliament in 2000 and in 2004. When the JVP was a constituent party of the governing coalition, he held the ministerial portfolio of agriculture, irrigation and land. In 2008, he was appointed parliamentary group leader of the JVP and since then has served the people as a vocal member of the opposition both inside and outside Parliament. The 7th convention of the Janata Vimukti Peramuna commenced this morning at the Sugadadasa Indoor Stadium. The theme of this year's convention was Socialism for National Unity, Social Justice and National Freedom. Following the traditional lighting of the oil lamp, silence was observed in memory of individuals who had sacrificed their lives for the JVP.
How is our national income distributed at present? The richest 20% of the families in our country get 54% of the national income. The poorest 20% of families in our country get only 4% or a similar percentage of the national income. Such a massive gap has been created between the haves and the have-nots. There is a need for a new economic policy. Our country is facing a serious economic crisis and an alternate economic policy is necessary to save this country. We believe that there is a need for a set of policies that will bring forth a socialist economy based on the fundamentals of socialism. Who is the opposition? At present, Ranil Wickremesinghe's United National Party is the main opposition. In truth, it is not the opposition, but the government's replacement, a capitalist replacement.
Do not attempt to make revolutionaries retire. Until they have life, until they die, until the moment that they are killed, revolutionaries are with the revolution. They live with the revolution and they carry out their duty to the revolution. When joining this party, not a single member has joined asking for the position of leader. They ask for an opportunity to do their duty. They say, give me an opportunity to do my duty to my people. Being leader in this is nothing. It is not important. No one joined here asking for the leadership. That is guaranteed.
At a meeting held following the party convention, several office bearers of the JVP were appointed.
Tilvin Silva was reappointed as the General Secretary of the party. Formerly, the Somawangsa Amarasinghe was appointed to the position of Secretary of International Affairs. K.D. Lalkantha was appointed as the Administrative Secretary of the party, while Sunil Handunetti was appointed as the JVP's Finance Secretary. Bimal Ratnayaka was appointed to the new National Organizer position. MP Vijita Herath was reappointed to the position of Propaganda Secretary. The JVP says that the Politburo, which comprised of 5 members, now has 7 members.
Senior freelance journalist Mel Gunasekara was found murdered in her home in Sugatipura, Battaramulla earlier today.
The police say one suspect has been arrested in connection with the murder thus far.
Senior freelance journalist Mel Gunasekara's lifeless body was found in her kitchen this morning. The police say that she was killed between 6:15 and 8:15 a.m. this morning, adding that she had cuts on her neck. The police say that the murder had occurred while her mother, father and younger brother were at church. Fingerprint analysts, police dogs and criminal investigation officers were deployed to the scene of the crime. The magisterial inquest was conducted by the Kaduvela acting magistrate. Police media spokesperson SSP Ajitrona said the police had recovered a fingerprint from the residence. He added that the police are also examining footage from security cameras at the house. Several police teams are conducting investigations under the supervision of a DIG and the Superintendent of Police in Nugegoda. A student of St. Bridget's Convent in Colombo, Mel Gunasekara received a higher education from the East London University. She commenced her professional life as a journalist in 1997 and worked at several media institutions including the Sunday Times newspaper and Lanka Business Online. Following a 5-year tenure at the French news agency AFP, Mel Gunasekara commenced work as a freelance journalist. She was 40 years old at the time of her demise.
Newsfirst at 9.
2 people were killed in a shootout with personnel from the police special task force at about midnight yesterday in Ratmale, Dikwella.
The police say that the 2 men who were killed in the shootout were wanted criminals.
The police say that the police STF had received intelligence that an individual wanted in connection with a number of killings had arrived in the south of the island. Police Special Task Force personnel had been deployed to Dikwella when intelligence was received that the suspect was passing the area in a 3-wheeler. The STF personnel had set up a roadblock in the Ratmale area and the 3-wheeler had sped past when they attempted to flag it down.
The STF personnel then gave chase and at one point the 3-wheeler had toppled on the main road. The suspects who were in the 3-wheeler had then fled down a by-road. While fleeing, they had fired shots at the STF personnel. The STF personnel returned fire and the 2 suspects were injured. It has been reported that they passed away after being admitted to the Batigama hospital in Dikwella.
2 STF personnel who were injured when the suspects had fired at them are being treated at the Mathura hospital. The police say that one of the deceased men was an army deserter wanted in connection with several robberies and killings in the Katanaiga area.
The other person accompanying this individual was a resident of Dikwella. The police searched his house following the incident. The police had discovered a modern revolver at the house. They had also recovered a micro revolver and a grenade at the scene of the shooting.
The magisterial inquest into the incident was conducted today. The bodies have been taken from the Dikwella hospital to the Mathura General Hospital for the judicial medical examination. Meanwhile, another shooting was reported from Madhupitia in Alubomulla on the Horona-Panadura main road when police attempted to arrest a suspect. The police say that gunshots were fired when the suspect, who was carrying heroin, had attempted to flee the scene.
Last night on the news at 9, we reported on a water crisis that has arisen in some parts of the Jaffna district.
And today we bring you this report on the distribution of water from the Iranamadu Reservoir, one of the primary projects proposed to supply water to Jaffna.
Construction of the Iranamadu Reservoir, which comes under the purview of the Department of Irrigation, commenced in 1903. Construction was completed in 1920 and operations began following renovation in 1954. Operations began on the initiative of the then Minister of Agriculture and Land, Dudley Senanayake, and Minister of Land Development, P.B. Bulankuleme Disava. The Iranamadu Reservoir, which is located in Mullaitivu, receives water from the Kannagarayan Oya. The 3-kilometer long bund of the reservoir is 34.14 meters high and has 11 spill gates. While the Iranamadu Reservoir provides water for the cultivation of about 36,000 acres of paddy land, this time around only 21,000 acres have been cultivated.
This is the Iranamadu Reservoir. It usually has a capacity of about 106,000 acre-feet. However, today the reservoir only holds about 20,000 acre-feet of water. Several schemes have been proposed to supply water to the Jaffna district from this reservoir. Some of these projects have been implemented halfway. But can water be supplied to the Kilinochchi and Jaffna districts with the amount of water in the reservoir?
The Memorandum of Understanding to supply water to the Jaffna district from the Iranamadu Reservoir was signed in 2007. The MOU was signed by the National Water Supply and Drainage Board, the Department of Irrigation and representatives of several farmers' organizations in the area. The project commenced in 2011. The project was initiated through a grant of more than $164 million from the Asian Development Bank. At present, this project is still in the study stage. This is because farmers in Kilinochchi are opposed to the project.
The farmers' organization representatives who signed that MOU have done so with no understanding of the project whatsoever. We reject 9 out of the 19 proposals outlined in the MOU. There is nothing in the agreement regarding the progress of the agrarian community. There is nothing in it regarding cultivation in the Yalla season. We have been severely affected by the water shortage. In such a backdrop, how can we give water to Jaffna? We cannot agree with this project. In the Yalla season, less than 8,000 acres are cultivated. If there is no rain in the future, then we will not be able to cultivate even 500 acres with the amount of water that is there. Officials have decided to provide water to Jaffna without properly researching this reservoir.
We settled here in 1981 trusting in this reservoir. Thousands of people who live here depend on this reservoir. Our future depends on it as well. We have no problem with giving water to the people, but who will look into what will happen to us after that?
The National Water Supply and Drainage Board rejects these allegations. Speaking to Newsfirst, a senior official at the National Water Supply and Drainage Board said that water can be supplied to 400,000 people from the Kilinochchi and Jaffna districts under the Iranamadu plan. He added that the bund of the reservoir would be raised by another 2 meters, increasing the capacity of the reservoir to 120,000 acre-feet, enabling the supply of water to Jaffna. While farmers in Kilinochchi say that the Iranamadu Reservoir is meant only for agricultural purposes, the district secretary says that it is a multi-purpose project. Tomorrow, we take a closer look at the elements of the plan to provide water to Kilinochchi and Jaffna from the Iranamadu Reservoir.